Once upon a time, in a faraway land, a young prince lived in a shining castle.
For the second video review in my series, I picked Beauty and the Beast. People are really excited about this one, and they should be. It's a fantastic story, and one that I grew up with long before Disney told their version. There's so much mystery and wonder surrounding the story. It explores the question, what does true love look like? And growing up, the main message I got from it was, you can't judge somebody by mere appearance. The new film is Disney's 5th live-action adaptation of the animated classics. And like the rest of Hollywood these days, Disney's discovered just how successful recycling old content can be. By giving them a new purpose, they can also get the chance to be creative and explore some things that, in some cases, have never been explained. The live-action makeovers all started with Alice in Wonderland becoming one of the first films in history to make over $1 billion at the global box office. After that, they took about a 4-year break, and starting in 2014, they've made one every year, starting with Maleficent, which was more of a spin-off of Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella in 2015, and The Jungle Book in 2016. And now in 2017, Beauty and the Beast kicks off the first of the stories chosen from Disney's animated renaissance, which includes these titles here. But before I give my review on the new Beauty and the Beast, let's look at some of the history first. The story of Beauty and the Beast is French. Very French. Not only was it written by a French novelist in 1740, but it's filled with French culture. I've been fortunate enough to travel to France with my family, and to this day it's one of my favorite places in the world. And once you're there, you can see why so many fairy tales were inspired by people who lived here. While I was there, I got to see the castle that inspired the story of Sleeping Beauty. The song that plays in my head whenever I think of France is the Carnival of the Animals. That's the song you're hearing right now. It's also what inspired the opening theme of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Can you hear the similarity? It's even more similar in this scene. The first live-action film came out in 1946 and painted an eerie image of France. Those arms holding the candelabras became an icon for every live-action film. I love how the castle is alive. It watches you, and sometimes with a physical face. The enchantress who casts the spell reveals her presence at the end. The Beast in this original version resembles a lion, and always wears this long robe with this tall collar. This is known to be his classic look. The next adaptation was actually the version I saw as a kid. It was an episode from one of my favorite shows that I would watch with my sisters called Fairy Tale Theater.
Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall. Welcome to Fairy Tale Theater.
It came out in 1984, but if it wasn't in color, you might actually have thought it was the 1946 film. The sets, the costumes, and the makeup look almost identical. Clearly, the director of this episode must have been a fan.
You could have taken anything except the rose.
For decades, we wouldn't have any other adaptations until recently, but I'm not referring to 2017. In 2014, there was a French live-action film that sadly went unnoticed. I recently watched it, and the cinematography is just gorgeous.
Il était une fois un riche marchand.
I had to watch it with subtitles, but I actually preferred it that way.
Je vous accorde un jour. Pas un de plus.
The beast looks more like a lion in this adaptation, and for 2014 the CGI is pretty good. I definitely recommend it if you're a big fan of the story.
Live with me.
Tenez votre promesse.
And now my thoughts on the new film. I went to see it with my wife Suzanne and my sister Rachel. Everything was top-notch, and it had to be because there's a lot of pressure. It's without a doubt the most faithful adaptation of Disney's animated classics to date.
You'll join me for dinner. That's not a request.
The character designs were great, and I love how they explained how each of them felt responsible for what the Beast had become. The movie answered several questions that the animated film never addressed, like what happened to the Beast's parents and Belle's mother. I appreciated all the changes that were made, but for those that loved how different the live-action Cinderella was, they might be let down by how similar this adaptation of Beauty and the Beast was. Depending on who you are, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I really enjoyed the film. Overall, I give the film an A. The reason I didn't give it an A+ is because Suzanne brought up some areas that she thought it fell short, and I agree with all of them. We thought the Beast could have been a little larger in size, and at times the CG still wasn't completely convincing, but that might take a couple years for it to be ready. I thought it was interesting that they decided to turn his horns backwards. One of the highlights for me in this film was the Enchantress, but I felt like they didn't explore it enough. We learn more things about her, but in some ways, it just creates more questions. On a quick side note, I want to address the controversy with LeFou. The drama surrounding the choice to make his character gay, I think, is unfortunate. Not because of the character, but the negative response around the choice. People were boycotting the film, even some countries threatened to pull it from theaters. What's sad to me is the fact that people missed how his character was really given a deeper purpose in the film. LeFou was really the only true friend that Gaston had. As a character, you see his internal struggle to do what's right. I think you don't connect with that if your attention is focused on deciding if you accept that he's gay. With all things considered, whether changed or kept the same, I think the film will be a classic for years to come. So, what did you think? I hope you enjoyed the review. Leave your thoughts down below, and if you missed my first review, you can click to it right here. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
For who could ever learn to love a beast?